marks European Day of Languages, so I wanted to take the opportunity to talk to some of our students about what it's like to speak another European language at home. So I wondered if you could all start by telling me which languages you speak and say hello in that language. Yasmina?
Ahoy, I speak Czech and I'm Yasmina. And
Andrew?
Привет. I speak Russian.
David?
Hello. No. Oi. I speak Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and my favourite word is sing.
Timmy?
Dzień dobry, and I speak Polish.
Fantastic. Okay, let's start with the best things about being bilingual then. Yasmina, what's the best thing about speaking more than one language?
my dad doesn't know Czech, so when me and my mum speak Czech, he doesn't really understand. But when we don't want him to understand, he's sometimes like, I know you're talking about me. So that's the best part.
Excellent. Secret code. Andrew, what about you?
I love being bilingual because it lets you connect a lot of cultures, and especially the kitchen, I find that's where the biggest difference is.
David?
It's really good because when someone asks you what language you speak, you say I speak two, and they'll be like, oh, that's cool, I don't really speak two.
So you get lots of good reactions
Yes.
for speaking more than one language? Timmy?
The good thing about being Polish is that I can support 2 Euro teams now.
Ah, there you go. And are there any disadvantages? Do any of you ever get any negative reactions? Yasmina?
Well, sometimes I guess just it gets quite frustrating because some people like ask me, can you say this? Can you say this? Can you translate this? Can you do this? And I was like, I'm not Google Translate, so I can't really translate like when you say something. But I'm like sometimes my just brain doesn't like know what it is, so that's the negative.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, I have something similar. Whenever someone asks you to translate something, it doesn't usually not a direct translation, and you can't use Google Translate, it just won't give you the right word. But also I feel like the mindset of another country is very different to me from the UK. So I find that whenever something happens, I always see in like a little different of a light than most people would.
That's really interesting. David?
My disadvantage is that sometimes I really want to tell something to my mum, but I really want to speak in my language so that others in English don't really understand, and she'd say, no, you need to speak English so that other people understand. I'm like, oh, it's and then I speak English.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to keep both languages going at the same rate. I imagine, especially once you start at school and everyone at school speaking one language, do you find sometimes you're forgetting words in the other language?
Yeah, I've heard of those stories. I just never understand how.
Well,
Like, Russian in general is just, I feel like there's a thing with Russian where it's very easy to forget. Like, no matter if you speak any other language, you will just always forget Russian words. They don't work as well.
okay.
Like all of my parents, they just have that one moment in conversation like, what's that word again? Like,
Yeah, for me it's just like when you come from holiday, it's just like you speak Czech for like a month, and then you come back and sort of like, how are you? I'm like, dobře. I mean good. And sometimes in school, like they ask me a question, I'm like, once I've done a whole sentence in Czech, they were like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so sorry, because sometimes I just get mixed up with yeses and nos, like simple words and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you ever do that? You find yourself speaking the wrong language or the other language, and you have to stop yourself and go back, David?
When I went to Spain, I kind of spoke like mixed the Portuguese with Spanish. So I talked like when I came back on the restaurant, they said like, oh, they gave me the food. I was like, gracias, no, sorry, thank you. Yeah, like you.
Yeah, because where those languages are quite similar, sometimes it's really helpful to draw the links, and other times it can be confusing, can't it?
Yeah.
Are there any words in particular in your home languages that are very different or that are very similar to English, Timmy?
Not really, no. They're all like completely different words.
And do you find that helps you remember them because they're completely separate, or do you find yourself forgetting those words?
No,
sometimes?
because like, for example, I need to think of 2 different like words, and sometimes it will happen that I'm talking and I'll just lose what I am and start talking Polish. So
Absolutely, I bet you can all
Yeah.
empathise with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And David already gave us his favourite word. I wonder if the rest of you have favourite words in your home languages. Yasmina?
I like rodina, it means family, and I really love family. So.
Oh, that's lovely.
I don't have a favourite word.
You just like them all? Or none
Yeah.
of them?
Also, about the differences in words, I feel like most of the words are different, but I don't use words to like, I don't use a word from Russian to remember like English words, because that just doesn't work. I can draw some link between Spanish and French because, for example, a C and S, when we have like a C, like a lowercase c, and so a lot of the letters that when you just basically jumble them up, and that really helps me like pronounce some, like understand how to spell some Spanish and French words. Some of them even sound like names. Like I think it's now French spellings. We have one of the spellings have the word Dimance, something like that, and it sounds like the Russian name Dima.
Okay.
So that's how I remembered it. Yeah.
Brilliant that that's helping you. Timmy?
My favourite word is Jezus Maria, means Jesus Christ, and I love saying it because it just sounds good.
Fantastic. And what about the culture then? We've talked a lot about the language, but we can't separate that out from the culture. Is there anything that you think people should know about the culture in your country? Any good food or music or history, things that are interesting? Yasmina?
It's just Czech, it's just really beautiful, and I like that. They use bikes a lot, so there's not a lot of cars you can see. It's still like a massive town and stuff, but it's just really beautiful. They have decorations everywhere, not a lot of litter like at all. I don't see any litter around. And we just normally outside because there's no like bad things going around. You can just go out with your friends. And there's the food is much different English food. So and they don't have certain things in Czech that English have, like orange chocolate. And my cousin, she really likes orange chocolate, so we have to always bring it for her. So that's really good.
That's really interesting. Andrew?
I feel like the culture is very different. Like for example, when I don't remember it, but like apparently from what my mum has told me, when we first went to England, I just couldn't eat food. I just hated it with a passion because, and now I just can't eat some like Russian food. Like I don't know what it is, but just it doesn't make sense to me. So now, like for example, it's not Russian, it's Ukrainian mostly, but salad. It's basically it's like salted pork fat.
Okay.
I think I've eaten it a couple of times before, but like that's not the exact thing I would imagine in an English kitchen because I just only eat English kitchen foods now. I just don't eat Russian foods. And there's also another one I eat. It's called pelmeni. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a meatball if you shrink it, and you put a sphere with like a 2D circle around it, and I don't know what it is, but you just
Sounds fascinating.
it works.
Yeah.
And I think it's a word for it. It's puree, is that a thing in English?
Not that I know of, but could be.
But it's like yellow potatoes, and you just like
Oh, mashed potatoes.
it's not mashed. No,
Sweet
it's not.
potato.
It's not mashed potatoes. It's like it has like an accent on it.
Puree,
It has
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the English way when I've eaten it in England, it just doesn't give the same taste. That's why I love cooking from home sometimes, or like my parents cook from home or something, because it just gives the food like a nice, like almost like a reminder.
Yeah. So even foods that you think on paper should be quite similar actually end up being completely
No,
different.
yeah. When my dad is from Latvia, when he goes like to the UK, I don't know what they're called, but there's these really like thin, like these thin meat pieces, and they like stretch them out very long, and they're very dry, but they just work. It just works. That's how I would explain it.
Lovely. David?
I really enjoy pão de queso, which means cheese bread, which is like a little bread, but it's made of cheese and flour. And I really enjoy the rice from Brazil because I think it's really white and good.
Excellent. Timmy?
So my favourite food is like pierogi, which is this like dough and there's like meat and inside, and it's like really good because you have to like cook it in water, and the water just gives it an extra taste.
Do you mean Paraguay?
No.
I'll find another country.
No, pierogies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Fantastic. Okay, that was really interesting. I think we've got some great recommendations there. I wonder if we could take it in turns to say goodbye. Timmy?
Do widzenia.
Ciao.
Okay.
Ciao.
Thank you very much.